Tennessee, who's here to recognize Clinch River Community School. She's still en route, as I'm told. So the first group of people we want to recognize, Dr. Burrell and the board, are 3 of our central office employees who are this year have transitioned from full-time employees and are going into retirement. I know 2 of them are going still staying with us as part-time employees. I don't know about the 3rd, and I apologize. But anyway, the 3 central office employees that we want to recognize are Debbie Disney. And Debbie has been with the central office, I don't know how many years exactly in the business office, and she's been a very valuable employee. We count on her to do a good job, and we're going to miss her as she goes into retirement. Effie Tipman, who happened to be my assistant for many years when I was director of instruction. Basically, when I moved from the principalship in Anderson County to the central office, she pretty much taught me my job and helped me make sure that my budget was in order. She helped me order textbooks. She helped me do the testing, state mandated testing, and she also is a very valuable employee. The last person who is here tonight and we want to recognize is Miss Mary Lou Young, and she works with Mr. Kelly Myers, and I'm going to invite Mr. Myers up here to say a few words.
I don't have to come up. I just got to say, Lou has taught me everything I know. I would be lost without her. She does a great job. She deserves every bit of it. Except retirement. She can't retire for me.
Miss Young, if you'd come forward, please. I too have worked closely with Miss Young, or Lou as we call her, up here at the central office. I shared an office suite with her and Effie Tipton for several years. And if you do anything wrong or you get out of line, she's the first one that will tell you what you've done wrong and get you straight, because she's all about following the rules and the regulations and keeping us out of trouble. And I just want to let you know, Mary Lou, how much we appreciate you, okay? And here's a certificate and a small token of our appreciation, okay? The next thing we want to do, Dr. Burrow and board, is we want to recognize three different groups or individuals. The first group that I want to call up here are the Norwood Elementary School Senate pages.
Sorry, it was around the
And Ms. Hobby is going to
I'm gonna let the kids introduce themselves while I figure out how to make that go up there. You want to introduce yourself? Tell them what grade you're in. Tell them your name. What grade you're in.
I'm Allison Brown, and I'm in 5th grade at Norwood Elementary School.
I'm Bethany Gasway, and I'm in 3rd grade, and I'm in Norwood Elementary School.
I'm Zane Swagarty, and I am 5th grade from Norwood Middle School, Elementary School.
He went to the middle school today to visit. He's thinking ahead.
My name is Kenneth Humphrey. I'm in 4th grade at Norwood Elementary School.
These students went to visit Lieutenant Governor McNally and Governor Lee, and they were pages on the Senate floor, and they got to serve, and we've got a few pictures. We'll just kind of let it run through and let them maybe just tell you a little bit about what you're seeing up there. Somebody want to? Oh, I'm sorry, Jaylee. Go ahead.
My name is Jaylee Lloyd from Norwood Elementary School, and I'm in the 4th grade.
And so these are student council members that have been voted by their peers. They go through a campaign process and they get voted in to be student council representatives. And then they've gone to Nashville and been able to visit. Here we go, look. So they're getting pictures. And who would like to, you want to tell a little bit about what you did? Sure. Okay, you guys are awesome.
While we were there, some of us didn't know what a page meant, so Miss Hobby told us what that meant, and that means that when they made a bill, we took it down to the grocery office, and and that's where the governor signs it to make it a real law for that. And and it's a big responsibility, and it's actually was really fun that you kind of got bossed around a little bit. And then we got to meet the governor, and it was a really fun experience.
Anybody want to add to that? Okay. Do you all have questions about that? We also want to talk a little bit about 4-H, but do you guys have questions about that trip or what we did? We went to the Tennessee State Museum, brand new, just opened, so we got to see that. All right. Well, we also have some 4-H awards. We kind of cleaned up this year in 4-H, and we had several here that were grand champions. If you were a grand champion, raise your hand. They were a grand champion of, what was yours? Presentation. Food science. And who went to got a purple ribbon and went on to give their speech to represent the school? Okay. Purple. Okay. All right. So several major awards, and then Kenny Trace was actually the regional champion in the speaking competition. And if it would be okay, it's just a couple of minutes, and I'd really love it if he would be able to give his speech just really quickly for you. It's on anti-bullying, and we thought that might be. It's really quick, I promise. Okay.
Have you ever heard the expression, treat others the way you want to be treated? Well, we all want to be treated with respect and dignity. Unfortunately, the problem with bullying in schools has been an issue for many years. Today, I would like to inform you about bullying, its harmful effects, and how to handle it if it were to happen to you. Bullying is a deliberate attempt to hurt, exclude, or put down someone else. It can occur through looks, words, or actions, though the most common type of bullying is through words. This can happen through teasing, name-calling, or making fun of someone else. It can happen in the hallways, in the classroom, in the cafeteria, on the bus, and even on social media. This is unacceptable. Every student has the right to feel safe in their own environment. Bullying can have negative effects on students at home, too. First of all, they can become emotionally upset. This can result in changes with mood, appetite, sleep, and behavior. Students might go to school and be fearful for their safety. In some situations, some students have actually committed suicide over bullying. This is the most alarming out of all negative consequences of bullying. Please know that you are not alone if you have ever been bullied. There's things we can all do to break the bullying cycle. Rule 1. Never support a bully by laughing at their actions. Rule 2. Stand up to a bully in support of a friend. Rule 3. Ignore the bully and don't let them know that you are upset. Rule 4. Report the bully to someone in charge at school. You can also be aware and participate in National Bullying Prevention Month every year in October. In conclusion, we should all work together to stop bullying, stand up for the right thing, never support a bully, and seek help when it happens to you. If we all work together, we can stop bullying once and for all.
Does the board have any questions? Students?
Great job.
Thank you, Ms. Hobby. Thank you, students, for a wonderful job. And I've heard good things about how you proudly represented Norwood Elementary School in Anderson County as you go down there. And, we're very proud of you. Thank you. Ryan?
We won't have our picture made for you, is what he said. Yeah, so
right, Ms. Connor is here now, so we'll get back in order. And Ms. Pat Connor is the head of Safe Schools for the state of Tennessee, and she's here with Ms. Gwen, and I'm gonna let Ms. Gwen introduce her, but I have met Ms. Connor, so I wanted to say that. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, Ms. Gwen, Ms. Tal, I'm sorry. Hey, Wade and Ryan, that's my Wade and Ryan. I apologize, I've got other things on my mind. I was thinking of another Kim. I'm sorry, Ms. Tal.
We've got Ms. Connor here, and our staff with Clinch River, you all do an excellent job with our students. And we were so excited that Clinch River was chosen as exemplary status with the state. Darren, Nate, if you all want to stand up and come on up here. And then we're going to let you introduce your staff that's here. But, you know, guys, I worked with alternative schools for several years, total of 6 years in Knox County. And I know what they do day in and day out. And guys, I know what the staff does day in and day out and what you all put in with our students, what you give to our students. And I can't thank you all enough. And I know Ms. Connor, I know you know what they do. And when they came up for their site visit, I was just like a proud mama. I mean, I really was. And I stayed and I listened to what Mr. Leach and what Mr. Stecker said, and then I listened to what the staff said. And I can't thank the board enough for all the support that you all give, but it's what the staff does day in and day out and the support they give to all of our students. And without our administration and without our staff, it wouldn't be possible and our students wouldn't feel safe and secure every day.
Yeah.
So.
And so just to kind of give you a little background on why they got this award, in 2017, the Department of Education partnered with, we have a Governor's Alternative Education Advisory Group, and we partnered to start this recognition program to recognize alternative education schools across the state who are doing exemplary work, high quality instruction, relationships, caring, support. All of that is evident in Clinch River. Guys, I don't have to tell you, our alternative students are not our most at risk, they are our most at promise. And we need to, and you're a good example of why we need to invest the resources to assist these kids in being the best that they can be. And I'm very proud of Clinch River. I've known Darren for a while. He doesn't talk much, so I really had to pull it out of him. But when our site visit, when we went to visit Clinch River, you can tell when you have a good school the minute you walk in the door. That school climate is tangible. You can see it, you can feel it, and when you walk in the door at Clinch River, you can see and feel the love and support that they have for those kids. So I know you guys are extremely proud, but on behalf of the Tennessee Department of Education, I would like to recognize Clinch River Community School, for exemplary recognition for high quality instruction and education for alternative students. So congratulations. And did you bring your framed certificate? Oh no. Okay, well, so let's do this. So when I gave Darren and his staff their certificate, our new commissioner had not come aboard yet. So I gave him one that was not signed by Commissioner Schwinn. So this is the actual certificate. So you can have that made into a picture. Okay.
If I could just have a minute, I'm really excited.
Okay.
I saw that Greg.
I'm starting you on the timer.
I said, if Greg Beal doesn't hug me after this is over, I'm going to find my union rep. I wanted to just take a minute, and guys, if you work at Clinch River, if you guys will please stand up, and I just want y'all to see how many of our folks are here. Some of them are already standing up, but these guys, I mean, I can't tell you how much they do. I mean, obviously they teach kids and all that, but there's not a person standing here, regardless of what their job is, that hasn't made sure that a kid has glasses if they need it, have shoes if they need it, help keep people's flights on at home. there are our students who come up to our individual teachers and staff members and say, hey, you know, Mrs. So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so, I need this, I need that. Can you get me clothes? Can you get me? And that kind of stuff happens every day. And the only reason it does is because of these people. Nate and we go and we get the papers and shake the hands, but these are the people that do the work. And I just want you guys to see them. Today, I had a meeting with a student, and this kind of sums it up. He was talking about going back to his home school, and he's going to be a senior next year, and he wanted to graduate at his home school. But he didn't know if he would be able to do it because he knows he struggles with certain academic subjects, math in particular. And he told me in the meeting, please, I'd love to go back to Clinton High School, and he kind of hesitated. He said, you know, I've got some issues. And I was like, good. Really?
We rejected our budget.
And he said in the
We
meeting,
rejected our budget and told them.
I don't know that they will understand me, and he mentioned Miss Dunton, Miss Sawyer, and Mr. Harmony in the meeting. And he's like, I've got some issues, and I don't know that I'll be able to make it through without those people. And I hear that day in, day out, and I will tell you the only reason that this happened is because of the people that work in that building. They are fantastic and outstanding, and as a board and as a system, you have no idea how lucky you are that these people stand around here working that school, because their secret is not really a secret. It's pretty much that they just love kids, especially Anderson County kids, because some of these folks are from here. So thank you. I appreciate it very much, but these guys are fantastic, and I would ask you guys to thank them, because they're fantastic for what they do.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
And Mr. Leach,
Mr. Hunt. Pat, that was worth you coming. I've been waiting 22 years. to
Yeah,
get
you've
that.
got it for posterity, right?
all right, thank you all. Next we have, I want to ask Principal Caleb Tipton to come up here with Coach West. Sams. I'm sorry, I apologize. And we have an award that we want to recognize a softball player at Clinton High School. And I'm going to let Mr. Tipton introduce Coach Sams. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Come on up, Coach. Guys, thank you for having us. We're here tonight to recognize one of our seniors, Lexi Chikovic. Had really kind of a storybook into her season. And I'll go ahead and confess she's a much better athlete and a better student than I was in high school. But we're thankful for her and what she's given to Clinton High School in her 4 years there. She really is. She's an incredible person, extremely mature young lady, a gifted athlete, and a wonderful student. I don't think she's changed her mind, but she's planning on going into the medical field. And she's got a bright career in front of her, and we look forward to seeing what she's going to do next. But I asked Coach Sams if he would come and kind of tell the story before we have Lexi come up.
Okay. Thank you. This has obviously been my first year at Clinton High School, and when I first met Lexi, you knew she was one of the leaders right off the bat. She's just got that personality that draws everybody to her. Every time, things are kind of getting rough in the season and everything, she's going, "We got this, Coach. We stay positive." And she's just that type of kid that has that aura. You can see with all the kids here how much they appreciate her and everything that she's done for the softball team. I hate that I've only had 1 year with her before she's graduating off, but she's definitely going to have a bright future ahead of her. She is such a great young lady. Going to miss her very badly. I mean, all of them are, just going to miss her so much. She really held our team together. When we first got there, she was the one that's like, okay, I'm going to give this guy a chance. All right? And I think a lot of the other players probably followed, in her footsteps. So anyway, one lady I know is going to have a great future. She's going to Carson Newman. She's entering as a sophomore already. So that says a lot about her character and where she's at. So anyway. Lexi, it's been an honor. It really has. I don't want to get emotional because that's how much, she's meant to me. Thank you.
if Lexi will come up. The Board of Education has a resolution that I want to read in your honor, okay? Anderson County Board of Education honoring Lexi Jacobic, CHS softball. Whereas Lexi Jacobic, a member of the Clinton High softball team, recently achieved a cycle in softball, and whereas a cycle as uncommon as a no-hitter consists of hitting a single, a double, a triple, and a home run all in one game, and whereas on senior night, the Lady Dragons were down 12-10 with 2 outs in the last inning against Campbell County when she hit a grand slam to win the game, and whereas Lexi ended the game hitting for the cycle, 8 runs batted in, and also scoring 3 runs herself, and be it resolved by the Anderson County Board of Education that this board congratulates Lexi Jacobic of Clinton High School for an exceptional softball season, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread upon the minutes of the Anderson County Board of Education and a copy be forwarded to Lexi Jacobic, adopted wholeheartedly and unanimously by the elected school board of Anderson County, Tennessee, meeting in regular session on the 9th of May, 2019. What we'll do is, I need to get some other people to sign it, and then we'll get this to you. Okay?
Thank you.
Sure. You want to be in this? Mr. Secretary, can we get one of the Yes. Next, I want to bring up Mr. Ben Downs, who's principal at Anderson County High School, and Coach Al Rod, because they have a presentation that they want to make as well.
Thank you, Mr. Deal, Dr. Parrott, Dr. Burrow Board. I want to say thank you for allowing us to recognize our students and our student athletes. This means a lot to the schools. Y'all do this a lot, and we do appreciate it. We're here tonight to recognize a special student athlete at Anderson County High School, and this student athlete exemplifies being a true student athlete. She excels academically. You're getting ready to find out how much she excels athletically. She's going to Samford University on a track scholarship. I'm not going to get into all the details, but this is a great individual. We're super proud of her, and these records that she has, I think you're going to be impressed with her too. So I'm going to introduce Coach Al Rod, our head girls track coach at Anderson County High School.
First of all, I want to thank Dr. Parrott, Greg Deal, and the Board of Education for making the resurfacing of the track possible. You know, that's another 10 to 15 years of going at it. I don't know if I'll be there that long, but it's just, I appreciate it so much. Andrea, Ben, Coach Terry, making it happen. It was a long road and it was a battle, and I know I came to see Dr. Parrott several times, and we talked, and Greg, I know Willie's talked to you several times, but it's been a good experience, and I thank you all for it. Brittany, you want to come on up? All right, she is going to Samford University, Vanderbilt University, University of Tennessee, Oklahoma. There were several other schools that were involved that wanted her services, but she felt that Samford was the best choice, which is a Division I school. Right? But to give you some idea of what she's done in the past, and by the way, I do want to thank also Sonia and Robert Bishop for their hard work in trying to raising money for the track, and also for your discipline, your sacrifice to her. You've probably seen the white van going through town with the pole on top, and that's Sonia and Robert, and they've done so much for the track team, and I really appreciate them. But to give you an idea of what Brittany has done, she was a softball player, and Robert had coached her, and there's that discipline you can see that's developed into her success here. But in 2017, she was state champion in the pole vault at 11.6. At 11.6. Freshman, you did 9.6, right? Freshman year, 9.6?
Wait, freshman year did
11?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay, 11. She was also 6th in the 100 hurdles, and this was at state, running a 15.2 something. I think it was 15.25. In 2018, she was state champion once again in the pole vault at 12 feet. And she also was 6th in the 100 hurdles. And in AAU, she went 12.6, and she ran a 15.01 in the 100 hurdles. To kind of get an idea of her, she's extremely dedicated. She's fierce. She had a, and some of you know this that have played athletes, she was intimidated a little bit at, I think it was your sophomore, junior year, when the young lady that was expected to win didn't win. And she would parade around Brittany and say something to her every once in a while. And Brittany just blocked it out like it would never happen and went in and won the state championship. This year, in the KYA Indoor State Championship for high school, she won the pole vault. She won a pole vault with a jump of 13 feet, 3/4 inches, right? 1/4, okay. Which ranks her in the United States, in the nation, did I say United? Nation, as 6th in the nation. 6th in the nation, 13 feet, 1/4 inch. She also was in the high hurdles, the 100 hurdles, and placed 6th in that, right? Placed 6th. Right now, she holds the high school state record in Tennessee at 13 feet, 3.5 inches. And she's attempted 13.6 many times, but she's probably been very tired because she's ran hurdles, she's ran 100, and
4x1.
and it'll be interesting to see her just do that right, 4x1, sorry. Right now, she has the best height in Tennessee, and she's also, this is what's so amazing about this young lady, is that she's improved her speed, and she's done that by lifting weights, and we're talking Olympic weights, throwing the weights up, and really preparing herself for what she needs to do. But she broke a Anderson County High School record, and some of you might have remembered this young lady, but it's about a 19-year-old record in the 100 hurdles where Josie Hahn held many, many records, but she broke that record in the 100 hurdles. And right now she holds the best 100 hurdle time at 14.59. 14.59. So she has a chance to go down to state, which we'll know Saturday. She has to qualify, top 4 qualify. And we do compete in AAA large schools. We're competing against schools that have 2,000 kids, 2,500 kids. And it's amazing that we're lucky enough to have you. We're lucky enough to have you. She also runs a 12.78 in the 100. So, I'm looking for some fireworks to happen, looking for a great time at the sectional and at the state. And I just thank you all for letting me coach. You could have got rid of me a long time ago. But I appreciate it. I really enjoy coaching, and it's fun. And I'm lucky enough to have some athletes like this. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Brittany, the Board of Education has also decided to honor you as well with a resolution, okay? So I'm going to read it. Anderson County Board of Education, a board resolution honoring Brittany Bishop, Anderson County High School track team. Whereas Brittany Bishop, a member of the Anderson County High School track team, recently broke 2 state records in the pole vault, and whereas she now holds the outdoor pole vault record of 13 feet, 3.5 inches made at the East Tennessee Jamboree, and whereas she now holds the state indoor record of 13 feet and 1/4 inches made at the Tennessee State High School Championship, and whereas Brittany has demonstrated the dedication and hard work necessary to achieve excellence in athletics, and be it resolved by the Anderson County Board of Education that this board congratulates Brittany Bishop of the Anderson County High School track team for an exceptional track and field season, and it be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread upon the minutes of the Anderson County Board of Education, and a copy be forwarded to Brittany Bishop, adopted wholeheartedly and unanimously by the elected school board of Anderson County, Tennessee, meeting in regular session on the 9th day of May, 2019.
I'll stay out.
say one thing about Anderson County High School's track program. Track is the hardest sport to coach by far. Anybody will tell you, because there's so many different events. You're understaffed. Football gets like 40 coaches and all these people doing everything. Track is hard to coach. This man built an Anderson County High School track program from nothing, and now they are a legitimate state power. Every year we have girls like Brittany that are now dominating at the state level from an area that really never had track. Norris never had a track program. Lake City never had a track program. Coach Rod is the best coach in our system by far, and anybody that says different doesn't know anything about athletics. Coach, thank you for everything that you do, and you will be here 15 years later because you are a lifer, stud. You'll be around until they bury you, so thank you very much.
Dr. Parrott is back to take over.
Yes. I will give you some updates as we get to my part of the agenda. Yes.
Person to be heard. Being none, approval of the agenda. Moved and second, approval of the agenda. Discussion? Not. All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Approval of the consent agenda. Discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second, approval of consent. Discussion? Not. All in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Executive approval, again, this month there was none. Comments from the chair, do the sick leave incentive. Tonight, did he leave? I have Coach Ben down.
He loses his money.
Yeah.
Give it that one.
Principal at Anderson County High School. Go ahead.
I have Robin Moore, food service manager at Claxton Elementary.
I have Kimberly Shetterly, food service manager at Anderson County High School.
Jacqueline Sutton, food service at Anderson County High School.
I have Graham Richardson, teacher at Clinton Middle School.
I'll do Joe's too. She is Sam Guffey, a teacher at Clinton Middle School. And I have Heather Cantrell, teacher at Fairview Elementary.
I have Stephanie Coker, teacher at Anderson County High School.
You want to explain to the...
Yeah, and these are just, we take this every month. The board has really graciously let us do this kind of, I would say it's an award, but it's kind of just like, hey, you've done a great job. You've not missed any days in the last month. And we put everybody's name. We used to say we put it in a hat, but now it goes in a program. It randomly select them out. So they will get an extra $200 in their check next week. So that's pretty good that we put that in. And you know, especially at this time, these people had to be really committed these last 20 days because it's had some beautiful days. And they have been at work every day. So I thank them for that.
TSBA convention is November the 14th through the 16th. Pam has graciously made reservations for everybody at Opryland. Those that can't go, let her know, and so she can cancel those out. And really, Dr. Parrott, that's all I've got tonight.
All right.
Comments from a student board member.
Okay, so this month at Clinton High School, we had our band concert on Tuesday, and we got our yearbooks yesterday. And then this upcoming Tuesday, we have our senior awards night, and then we have graduation in 10 days, but I'm not counting or anything. And then we had a choir concert today, and we also had our teacher versus student Olympics, which I didn't get to see who won that because I leave school at 2:30, but it was really fun of what I got to see of it, and everybody enjoys it every year, so it was great.
Thank you. We've appreciated your service this year.
Thank you.
Director's report.
Yes, Dr. Burrow, before I do anything, as you may be aware, this week is Teacher Appreciation Week. And we, by far, have some of the best dedicated teachers in the country. And every day in and day out, I go into schools, and you never see them that they're not engaged with students. And I know it's been a long year. They've done a lot of work. It's been a great year. But I just want to say my thanks to those publicly for the job they do. Our teachers are fantastic, and they deserve everything they get. And on that same note, as you know, we have a 2% raise in our budget for this year, and our budget was out of balance, $821,000. Tonight, the budget committee, the county commission budget committee, they refused our budget. They had a motion to give us 3 cents on the for capital outlay, and that failed. So they've asked us to come back and bring them a balanced budget. They did approve 8.3 cents for the jail. I don't know what else they approved tonight, but that's kind of where we're at. And I think it is, I know they have a tough job over there. Our budget has 13 positions that are cut in our budget. I believe it's a good sound budget, but I will need some direction from you all to see where we want to go next. Again, I know they have a hard job, but I think they are, the way I understand it, the county commission is going to give all of their people a 2% raise, and I believe our teachers deserve a 2% raise. So, that's all I have, Dr. Burrow.
Before we get into committee reports, our board attorney is here, and I think has a report on our the liquor referendum for versus the cities.
As the board is, I'm sure aware, there is current litigation pending in the Anderson County Chancery Court between the Board of Education and the city of Clinton and Oak Ridge regarding how the liquor by the drink sales tax revenues are spread or not spread, for lack of a better term. There were 5 other lawsuits against other Board of Educations in Tennessee against municipalities alleging the same thing that our lawsuit alleged. Those cases have gone through the court system and were recently decided by the Supreme Court of Tennessee, which determined that those municipalities who have their own school districts do not have to share in their revenues with the county. Based on those rulings, we would recommend that the current litigation pending would be dismissed. I think Sal had maybe talked to Mr. Cantrell. I think he was in agreement with that.
Yeah, I would so move to dismiss them. The Supreme Court cases were dispositive on this issue, so there's nothing we can do. We might as well just cut it off and let it in. So I would move that we authorize our board attorney to dismiss all litigation.
And not to interrupt, sorry, go ahead. The facts were similar. The county had not passed a referendum. The cities had, and that's the same situation that we have here in Anderson County.
Motion made and seconded that we dismiss the lawsuit.
I do have one question, Elizabeth, you may not know it, but for some reason I have a recollection that Lake City and the city of Clinton paid an amount at the beginning of the litigation, and because it was such a nominal amount, Lake City's was like $3,000 or $4,000, and Clinton was there, and they just paid it to be done with it. Did that happen?
Clinton put theirs
in escrow.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're not going to have to refund any money then, are we, Jim?
Well, I think Lake City may have paid it.
Yeah, Lake City still has to pay us.
Lake City paid it, Clinton put theirs in escrow, so we will have to refund.
My recollection on the Lake City, if place they were collecting that tax was in Campbell County, and they didn't pay anything.
Okay. So that little bar was across the line?
Yeah.
That little bar in Lake City was on the Campbell
Yeah,
County
yeah.
side? Okay.
Yes.
Across the line.
Now, how, will this affect Norris?
Norris is
Norris
paying.
is paying it currently because,
They probably don't have a city referendum to keep it because they have no municipal school system.
Right.
So we would get Norris's money continually.
And that was the holding was that for municipalities that had their own school system.
Motion is made and seconded that we drop the lawsuits. Discussion. Further discussion. Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Committee reports. Budget Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Budget Committee met Monday night to, we had a couple items on the agenda. The first one was appropriations. We went through all of these ad nauseum Monday night, so I will not go through them again tonight unless there are questions. Appropriations A through F are in the current year budget. G, H, and I are for next year's budget. So those appropriations were approved by the Budget Committee and recommended for approval, and I so move.
Second.
Moving second, we approve appropriations 1A through 1I. We can do them together?
Yep. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Discussion. Not. Roll call vote.
Mr. Bale?
Aye.
Mr. Cantrell?
Yes.
Mr. Gillenwaters?
Aye.
Ms. Langenberg?
Aye.
Mr. McCamey? Ms. Portwood?
Aye.
And Dr. Burke? Motion carries.
The next item were the transfers. There were a lot of those, it being the end of the year. Everybody's getting their budgets balanced, so, but transfers 2A through 2Q were approved by the Budget Committee, and I so move.
Do I hear a second?
Okay.
Moving second, we approve transfers 2A through 2Q. Discussion. Not. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
I also had a motion, Mr. Chairman, to approve a request for $10,000 by the city of Rocky Top for improvements to the football field and/or the facilities, there with the stipulation that it is a one-time arrangement and that those funds are used to improve the facilities. That was approved by the Budget Committee. And
If I could say something before you do that.
can I make the motion?
Yes.
Then we're done.
I'm sorry.
I move we pass that.
I would request that we table this motion till we figure out where our budget is. I don't wanna spend money we don't have, because that 10,000 could be a teaching assistant position. But I'm at the will of the board.
I'll withdraw the motion. Unless
Maybe
somebody
we
else will-
defer action on this request until such time as Dr. Parrott comes back with a balanced budget.
I'll second that.
Moving second is that we table the motion.
Refer it back to
Discussion.
budget. Is that what you want to do?
Discussion. If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
All right. That's all from the Budget Committee, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Policy Committee.
I'm gonna do that too, I think. There was only one policy, and that is policy 4.209, alternative credit options. That actually loosened up regulations on that from what we had before, but it allows students to take courses online. We have the Odyssey Ware program that we use now, so all of the classes that are offered at our school are available online, and there are also other classes that are available to students if they want to take them online. And there's a process to go through that, and that's all spelled out here, as well as a process for appealing a denial. So this has been approved by the Policy Committee Monday night and forward to the full board for approval on first reading, and I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded that we approve policy number 4.209, alternate credit option on first reading. Discussion. Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
There's also the code of conduct. Do we want to take that under policy or take care of that under action items? Action, okay. Then that's all from policy. Okay.
Operation Committee.
Had one item on the agenda, and that was to approve a one-year pilot program for ESS, a staffing company to handle the substitute teaching needs for the county. And the motion was referred to the full board for approval.
I would respect to ask that we put,
Yes, sir.
that you withdraw that motion till
Yeah.
we have a balanced budget.
I agree.
I mean, I can't, that's about $60,000 and it's something we desperately need, but I've got to figure out where we're gonna balance the budget at first.
Okay. Do we need to do
I
anything
move
on
just
it?
we table that motion, bring it back up to a later
Second.
date.
Moved and seconded we table the motion. Discussion. Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
And that was the only thing that I had.
Curriculum Committee.
The curriculum committee met on Monday to decide who are going to be the scholarship award winners. These are scholarships that are paid for out of the individual board members' pocket. We have 4 this year from the Innovation Academy, Ashton Niner; from the Connect Academy, Samantha Dean; from Anderson County High School, Pamela Graves; and from Clinton High School, Jackson Crow. And these awards will be given out at the award ceremonies. So I move that we approve to award these 4 scholarships.
Second.
Moved and seconded we approve the above mentioned awards. Discussion. Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Action items. Recognition of current student board education members. Are these the?
No, they're just the placards right down here.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All you. Tell me where you're going to school.
Pellissippi.
Studying what?
Pre-vet.
Approval of the student code of conduct. First reading.
So moved.
Second.
Move second that we approve the student code of conduct on first reading. Discussion. Any significant changes?
No, really, we just, the Chromebook, we had to put that in there, added it to the pricing page. We put the, we had to put e-cigarettes and jewels and all that stuff in the code of conduct. And we also had to put in there about adding bus complaint procedures and due process. And then out of zone, you all had changed out of zone from 1 year to 1 semester. And so that we had to make that in line with board policy. So it's really due. The other thing, the dress code, you know, they did a great job. They had to look and see, you know, when you look at dress code, you want to make sure that, bottom line is you have to have some creativity, but where does it draw the line when it affects the educational environment? And really and truly, holes in jeans don't affect the educational environment. And that was a constant battle with that, and the committee decided that, hey, if they're, they can have holes as long as they're below a certain point, and I think that, that's in line with kind of what, as you know, the conduct lets the principals do some changes and that's kind of where they were at, so it brings everything in line, it makes it, countywide that way, so, Paula and her group did a tremendous job on that.
Dr. Barrett, I'd like to thank our student board members as well, because I consulted with them over the,
Yes.
dress code changes, and they got back to me in a timely manner, and I really appreciated it. They consulted with their students at the school. They did a great job with that, and I appreciate that.
As a father of a high school girl, paying money for those jeans that are already holes is the biggest pain in the butt that you can imagine. So reluctantly, I will accede, but I can't stand that.
I understand.
I understand.
Yes.
Motion made, have we voted on the,
No. First reading. For first reading.
this is passing the student code of conduct on first reading, discussion. Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, did we get a motion to pass those two resolutions honoring the students? Were they in the consent agenda?
No, we need that, we need
Okay,
those.
then I move we approve the resolutions honoring Ms. Jacobic and Ms. Bishop.
Second.
Move second, we approve the resolutions on student board discussion.
Jacoby and Bishop.
Bishop.
The softball and the track field.
Yeah, the athletic resolutions
Okay.
sit in front of
The
you.
one you're passing around.
Other discussion? Not all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries.
When is graduation?
Graduation is Sunday, the 19th. Clinton High School is at 1:30. Anderson County is at 4:30. Innovation Academy is in the middle at 3:15. If you will let Pam know, we will get you passes so you can get in down on the bottom level.
Isn't Clinch Rivers next Friday?
Clinch
Week from
River is
tomorrow?
the 17th, Friday night, yes. And
Okay.
it starts at 6 o'clock.
And what is it on Tuesday night?
Tuesday night is the award banquet. It starts at 6 o'clock at Anderson County, and Clinton is at 6:30. So we'll need a board member to go to Clinton High School to give that one out, and a board member to give the ones out.
I'll be at Anderson County, so
Okay.
I can do AC.
Okay, and what we'll probably do, Mr. Deal will be at Anderson County, and we'll let him give out Abby's plaque that
Plaque,
night
yeah.
too. If that's okay with the board.
Before we adjourn, I think we need to discuss what we're gonna do and when we're gonna meet about the budget.
Well, and I need, you're exactly right, I need some direction on that, where you want us to go. Do you want to?
How far out are we?
821,000.
And this was just the budget committee tonight that denied our request, so it won't go to the full commission as it relates to us. Was the vote close? Was
No,
there?
There's two things. We had asked for 8 cents in capital outlay money, and then our budget was out by 5 cents. But what I got up and they started talking about it, and I said, if you can give us the capital outlay money, the 8 or 9 cents, then we can come back and we can balance our budget. I believe we can do that. We can come back and we can cut some things. There's capital outlay money in our budget. You gotta have capital outlay money in the budget. We gotta do
Yeah.
roofs, you gotta do all, you can't do it. Well, and by cutting that out, we could balance our budget. But now with no money, you cut all the capital outlay money out of our budget. We have nothing to do capital outlay with next year, and we're still $240,000 short on the 2% raise. So, I mean.
And that's the 2% mandated by the state through
Yes.
the BEP funding. So we have no wiggle room on it. It has to come in.
Well, I mean, I guess we could go back to the state. We'd have to figure out if we were in.
I don't think they can give you a waiver off that. I think that's a state mandated requirement, so we have to make up the shortfall.
And the board and the county commission in their meeting on Monday night said that they were going to give their employees a 2% raise. They thought their employees needed a 2% raise.
And they're gonna vote on a tax increase for the other departments and just nothing for the schools.
I don't know what happened after I left, but they had only.
Only on the sheriff,
They-
that's all they've done so far, and we left.
But that's a tax increase.
Yes,
So
8.3.
they're planning on voting on a tax increase and give nothing to the students or the teachers. Yeah.
So didn't their employees get a raise about 3 or 4 years ago when we were over there trying to get a raise for our teachers?
This is, and I explained to them, the $40,000 were out. We went over, if you remember, we went over 3 years ago when that was my first year budget, and we said, hey, we want to do 1-to-1. And you said, we can't fund it, find a way to fund it. We went across the street and we asked for funding, $450,000 for 3 years. The county commission gave it to us the first year. They had alluded that it would be a 3-year ongoing. The next year we went over there, they came to us and they said, our budget is not in good shape. You've done a good job with your budget. Can you fund it out of yours? Well, we used rollover money. The same thing happened last year. So we've used almost $900,000 rollover, because once you start 1-to-1, as you remember, you can't quit it, because now we have no computer labs in our schools. So and it's the way to go. But now, we were looking at trying with capital outlay money, is that money would keep funding that, and over 5 or 10 years, we could pay the debt down and we wouldn't have to borrow more money.
So had the county commission fulfilled their agreement or honored their agreement to pay
No.
the $450,
No.
we would be okay on our capital outlay.
Yep.
Because we would have been able to put that money back.
Yes.
So essentially, the reneging on that agreement is what got us upside down on capital outlay.
Yes. And I think what they need to do, and what they had talked about, Ms. Erb, she had talked about that, really, that if you put 8 cents for the schools and they put 5 cents in for the county, then you have capital outlay. You don't have to worry about coming back and when you need police cars, when you need fire trucks and things like that. But yes, they, Dr. Smileridge, he made the motion to give us 3 cents for capital outlay. Mr. White seconded it, and Mr. White and Mr. Smileridge were the only 2 that voted for it. Everybody else voted against it. So I'm very disappointed,
Well, as far as direction goes, I think legally you're stuck on the $240,000. I don't know any way. I think that's tied to taking the BEP money. If you take the BEP money, you have to make up that shortfall to give the 2%. Again, you might want to refer that to Sal, but I'm 99% that that's the case.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't.
I thought with the BEP money, you only had to spend that money for a raise. In other words, if the 2% raise only is enough money for 1%, that's all you have to give.
Yeah.
Because we have so many teachers over the limit.
We got $540,000 extra more in the BEP this year, and we would have to spend every penny of that on a raise, which we do. I mean, a raise, what we've got in the budget's $1.5 million. So you have to realize too, we cut 13 positions. I mean, out of this budget, there's 8 teaching positions we cut out of this budget. So it's not, as they said, as one of them told me when I left, we need to go back and sharpen our pencils.
I'm gonna make a motion that we ask Dr. Parrott to come back to the Board of Education with a balanced budget with the 2% raise as was proposed. And let's see how bad it guts us. And we've been very nice. The board, Dr. Parrott and Dr. Burlingame have been very nice and not kicked up any sand over there. But we need them to know that we intend to give our employees 2% raise, and that here's what's going to have to happen, and it's not good. It's not good. We talked about the gymnasium at Grand Oaks. Dr. Parrott mentioned that, but the renovations at Anderson County High School, and some of these other areas.
I mean, we've got a fire alarm that's $100,000 that fire marshals very well told us we have to do next year. And if you don't do it,
Close you up.
Well, but we heard the same song about the jail. And that's more important than our school. But the jail, if we don't spend 1.3 million on it,
Well,
we
but
may shut it down.
What frustrates me about the jail is it's being used for file storage. Right now, there are jail bells. If I have to get a court file, they don't have enough room at the courthouse. They are in the bunks at the jail. So we go to the jail to get paper that is being stored there, and now they're wanting to build a bigger jail to store, in theory, more paper. If they would just take the paper, and it's true, isn't it, Jim? I mean, you go over there, and if it's an old file, they say, we have to make a request, and they send it, and if you go to the jail, their filing cabinets are the jail bunk beds.
I think the money that they've actually do that is to open that up, is to open that bunk room up. That's what they've asked the sheriff has asked.
They made the case that the other people surrounding us were in such bad shape with their jails that they couldn't afford to do that. So what we would do is we would be able to rent those rooms out over there, or that jail facility out, those beds out over there at a real premium, and so that would bring money into the county.
That isn't gonna happen. I mean, the cost of transporting the prisoners back and forth for court appearances, that's just, I mean, that's not a fair or a true statement. Well, I mean, so in theory, how much are you gonna have to cut off of the budget? If we give the 2% rate, because I'm kinda in agreement with Andy, I think we need to give everybody.
We'll have to go back and we'll have to cut about 1.5% across the board with every department, everything we've got.
Is it realistically fair to do it as a spread across every department as opposed to just looking at particular things? Because I always hate that. If I'm running a tight ship and then I have to cut 1.5 and another guy has a lot of extra, I don't think I should be punished along with the other department that has some flow.
Well, and this is the thing, I went to them last year and they pretty well did that. I mean, that's where, when you think we cut almost $700,000 out of this budget to get to where we're at. I mean, I don't know, this first cut hurt, this is really gonna hurt. Cause Frank's probably, his capital outlay is probably gonna take the blunt of the.
But that, and Andy has said this for years, even before we became on the board, if you don't fund capital outlay,
Exactly
we
right.
get into a problem because things break. And when it breaks, it has to be fixed
Yes.
right then.
Well, that's why we just borrowed $11 million, because they didn't fund capital outlays and we had to borrow it to fix everything that was past its
Had
prime.
been put off.
Yes, and that, our bill right now is right at $2 million that we pay out of our budget for capital outlay. So, I don't know. I think that, these,
Is closing the school an option?
I mean, you may have to. I mean, that's something you can look at. I mean, you gotta see something.
Did you say closing?
Yeah,
a
closing the school.
A school?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to realize there's things that happen. It's just like we have our bus contracts, because fuel's up, we're up about over 80,000 with fuel escalation costs this year. We are up about 40,000 in the CPI this year. So when you look at those things, we
don't have any choice on
no,
those things.
And fuel's gonna go up again. I mean,
Exactly
the
right.
projection is another 20% increase in fuel costs before the first of the year.
And we have to buy supplies for the classroom. I mean, we have to buy curriculum. I mean, we've got 2 brand new curriculums. We're a year in, and if that's all we have, there is no other books out there. You have to have a curriculum. So we've been funding that out of undesignated to try to keep the budget balanced. So we could
if we balance the budget out of undesignated reserve, then
that's-
we're back where we started 5 years ago.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, that's.
And that's what they voted, and that's the first thing they voted on, was to do that. And I come back and I said, I'll have to go back to the board, but I said, I don't think the board will let me use one-time money for recurring costs. And it's not sound, I mean, I'm at your will, but that's not sound financial stuff that we do.
That's a poor practice, and commission does it all the time, and they think the rest of us ought to,
But they don't have the buildings, they don't
I
have
know
the
they don't.
employees.
I know.
I mean, they don't have the concerns that we do. I mean, if you're sitting over there in the clerk's office, you don't have to pay to upkeep the courthouse. You know, you don't have those costs, and they don't have the staff and the faculty that we do, and we're faced with a declining number of students, which affects the money that we get from the state.
Well, you see the two commissioners who've actually served on the school board or been a
Yeah,
director
director
of
of
schools,
schools.
they're the ones who understand.
Well, you know,
The rest
and
of them don't know.
Well, Bob
Several
Sparridge is one of
months
your best
ago-
school guys in the state. I mean,
Sure.
he's been around.
Absolutely.
He knows how to run a good school
Right,
system.
and he knows what it takes.
Yes.
So,
Several months ago, there was a thing in the Sentinel, and I think I've still got it, that delineated where each school system in this area got their funds. Anderson County got the least percent from local than any system around. And I think it was like 13% or something.
Well, and right now, Knox County's given 3.5% raise. Clinton City, I've heard, is giving a 4% raise. Oak Ridge City's giving a 2.5% raise. Blount County's giving a 2.5% raise. And Maryville City is a 4%. So if we don't give something, then what we do is we start losing our good teachers that we do already. And I told the board tonight, I said, you know, this is your school system. You're our only funding source out of the BEP. Clinton City has Clinton, and Oak Ridge has Oak Ridge, but we have only them to fund us, so,
Well, it's not a dead issue over there. There's only 8 members on the.
there was only 7 there tonight. Rick Meredith had to
So
leave.
there's 8 more that, and, you know, we gotta pick up 7 of those or change some parts. But it's sad to hear you're not as important as our jail or the ambulance service and that's basically what we heard.
Our county employees.
Yep, so I will, me and Mr. Woodward will start tomorrow on, I would let, if
Wait
you
a
would.
minute, now, Andy had a motion.
Yep.
Repeat it, Andy.
That Dr. Parrott present us with a balanced budget that included the 2% pay raise.
I second that motion.
Okay. The motion made and seconded. Other discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now, go ahead.
I just said, me and Jim will start on it tomorrow.
What's your time frame?
Well,
It'll have to
we
be by
need to
July
go,
1.
we need to go before county commission. When do they meet? Not next Monday.
They meet Monday week. They meet, May the 20th. Meet May the 20th.
But we need to meet before then and have a plan, and everybody needs to go to that commission meeting.
Yeah, we'll just call it.
In, of course, August, but,
Yeah.
and then you're right, I think all 8 of us ought to be over there, with Dr. Earl, you leading the thing to explain to them that we got a problem too, and, we're getting better, but.
We've gotten ourselves in good shape, but this will put us back where we were, where we started 5 years ago.
Yeah. Well, the point's well taken that this is a committee meeting. Commission can still do anything they want at their full commission, at the full meeting. So if we can get pick up the phone, call your commissioners and see if we can get them to, you know, all it takes is a motion and a second.
Who all was there tonight?
You had Chuck Fritz, Rick was on that, but Rick had left. You have Chuck Fritz, you have Dr. Smallridge, you have
Jerry.
Shane Bell, you have Jerry White, you have Teresa Scott, you have Ms. Denenberg, and Denver Waddell. Those were the 7 that were there.
How many of those worked for the sheriff's department?
2.
I mean, it's true. I mean, they're voting for themselves.
Do what?
Negative. To me.
Who was?
Reading your body language and everything. Denenberg and Scott seem to be the most averse to doing anything for the schools.
Man, we are in.
They're Oak Ridge.
It's a different. Well, you have
Sorry.
3.
Oak Ridge was very supportive of the schools.
But you have 3 school systems, and they do pull 3 different ways, and it dilutes your state money. I mean, we're in the same boat that Blount County is with Maryville and Alcoa city systems being there, because, you know, the county doesn't get all of the state dollars, and we don't get any of the municipal revenue that comes through. So, I mean, we are in a different spot, but look back historically, in the 16 or 4 terms I've been on, we've been incredibly fiscal responsibly. I mean, it's only twice I can remember that we've ever had to go over and ask for any money, and one was the year that they blew it at when that boy was the trustee, and they overpaid us, and we had to refund that money to Oak Ridge, and the state came in and said we had to pay $900,000 in retirement. That was unexpected, which we didn't control. I mean, we never go over there asking for any extra.
And I too, I believe that this is as they've not raised taxes in 4 years, things go up. And I believe that the plan we had was to do 2 things. One was to help balance our budget, to give a 2% raise, but also to fund capital projects from now on. And I still believe it's a great budget.
But they're for a tax increase. They're just for a tax increase that doesn't include us.
Yes. That was what
I
we
mean,
voted.
that's what I would try to get out to the public, is that your county commission is for raising your taxes. They just want to raise your taxes and not include the children of the taxpayers or the teachers in any of the plans. And I don't remember a time in my lifetime where we've had a tax increase and they said, schools, you don't get anything. We're going to raise it for everybody else but the kids. Because that's essentially what they're voting, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And as you know, our budget, the only new money in this budget is for a raise. Because you all said it was important. I think it's important. We have to pay our people. Because we lost those students, we took that money out of the budget. So we've done the things we needed to do.
You think there's something that can be swayed?
I've talked to all of them. I've talked to Jerry White. Jerry White knows that $200,000, that money is what we need to finish that gym at Grand Oaks. He knows that there's money in there to finish paving the parking lot at Dutch Valley. Those are things. The same thing up on our end. We've got to do some renovations at Anderson County High School. There's Andersonville. There's a roof at Andersonville over the kitchen. It needs to be fixed. It leaks right now. They've run some food because it needs to be fixed. We can balance this budget, but you know what? If you want to get rid of art, you want to get rid of music, you want to get rid of all of the things that make us a great school system, and be just a
step backwards.
A step backwards. Exactly right. Yes, and our teachers have worked. I mean, all of our employees, they work their tail off, and I know that's probably not right to say on TV. I don't know if we're still on, but they deserve a raise.
It's kind of funny, having been around this school system for almost 50 years. As I sat over there last Monday and watched the full commission, as I watched the budget commission tonight, but
It used to be, you could count on every Oak Ridger to vote for the school budget. Because Oak Ridge got some of that money as well. Clinton was pretty good to stay with us. It's not true anymore. It's not true anymore.
Well, we've got, I think our Clinton people are with us. I think, Bob Jameson is,
Yeah.
he's with us. I think,
Even Dr. Smallridge is with us.
Yeah, and Greg Smallridge, Dr. Smallridge is with us. And I think, Mr. Yeager, I think, he's one that we've talked
I
to.
think it's, like Scott says, we need to call everyone that we know, not just our district, but everyone that we know, and express our concern.
What does the mayor say?
I don't know. I think she understands there needs to be money for capital outlays for both the schools and for the county.
Because was it 3-4 years ago, Scott, we went and had the meeting with their budget committee, and she promised us if we would hold off with all of the plans she had, that there would be more money available for us.
That's when she was responsible for the budget.
Yeah.
Is that the one where the guy
That's
said
true.
that the teachers were, fire jails were so full? Was that the budget
Yeah,
committee?
that was that same Moody. Yeah, but now she doesn't have any control over it under your new management act. It's all.
TIF took 100, TIF took 100, the TIF things that they do for people took 129,000 out of our budget. This year, not next year, this year. So we had almost $375,000 that we budgeted the first of the year that is not in our budget now.
Wow.
When will, for Scott's planning purposes, I don't know if we need to meet before Tim has a plan. I mean, I kind of think he needs to have his stuff before we have a meeting.
Yeah.
I
You'll
think
work
we
with
need to
him.
meet before we go over to county
We'll see if
commission.
we can meet maybe next Monday night. I'll give you a whole day, 2 days, tomorrow and Monday. And all weekend.
And all night, 'cause I doubt if you'll sleep much tonight.
Well, Andy made it easy, 'cause he said to leave the raise in there.
Well, but the
Well,
cuts will be
yes.
hard. I mean, that's what's gonna take Tim and Jimmy some heartache is what to cut and given. And I would probably prefer, just speaking for me, to have options, not just one thing that it's this or that, but to say, this would be the option of closing a school, this would be an option of cutting personnel, this would be an option of cutting programs, so that we could discuss which of those, makes the most sense and does the less damage to the kids.
Could we do it on Thursday, the 16th? Because Monday's an in-service day, and I'm not sure how many of my directors may have took a day's vacation that day, and I need to meet with them. And then that will give us, Tuesday night we have the awards, and then Thursday night would be
So it'd be like a week from tonight.
a week from tonight, the 16th.
What
6
time?
o'clock, too.
6 o'clock.
6. Pam, can you send us an email to that?
We'll do it.
That's fine. We set a meeting for 6 o'clock
Next Thursday.
next Thursday.
That's officially the budget committee.
Yeah, budget committee.
Yeah.
It's a call
Everybody.
budget.
Everyone's
Yeah,
out.
everybody comes.
Right.
Well, I think, I don't wanna politicize it, but if we need to let the county people know where the cuts are gonna come from.
Yes.
And I mean, it's not being
Exactly.
political, but when, you're looking at something being cut at your school, then, maybe we can sway some commissioners, but, I think they need to know, we're not just gonna cut the pay increase for teachers out of this budget. That there's some other hard cuts that we're gonna make, and they're gonna affect everybody in this county, and they're gonna affect every commission district. So if those commissioners can look their constituents in the eye and vote to
Fund the
take
jail
something
and
out
not
of
the
their
school.
in their own district, then they're braver than most commissioners I've ever seen. So we need to make sure that they know what the cuts we're gonna make really are.
Funding the jail for people outside of our county.
What?
Funding the jail for people outside of the county.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
let me- Scott, procedurally, would it make sense to not adjourn this meeting, and then if we needed to convene the board meeting after the budget meeting to where we could vote on it, so Tim would have that? And just
Yeah, we've got to give, what, 5 days notice?
Well, but if we don't adjourn tonight's meeting.
Yeah, if we don't.
Yeah,
I'm
and
just
then
saying
just, we would be okay, and then that way we could have the
Either
budget
way,
meeting,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
then reconvene this
Right after
meeting
that other
after
meeting.
the budget meeting.
Yeah,
Is
we
that-
can
does
do
that
that.
work
and-
Or we could just
procedurally?
get it out, we could just get it out that there's a special called budget and board meeting next Thursday night. We've got 5 days, so that's
Okay.
plenty enough time to do it if you want to.
Yeah,
Because
we
I'd
got,
like to
we
do
got
it the
time to do it
same
either
night.
way, but yeah,
Okay.
you're right. Legally, we could do it either way.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I think it would work either way.
But we
We-
need to announce
Yes,
tomorrow
we
morning
will-
what
we
we're
will.
The
doing.
county 2% too. What does the
Well,
county
that's,
get?
that's what they say
Well, they
too.
ought to get the teachers ought to get at least what they get.
Well, I think we ought to let our teachers know that the county employees are getting a 2% raise, but they're not. Or they're not voting for it.
I think there's some people in here tonight that's gonna make sure they know that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And as you know, and we have a great working relationship with ACEA. You know, when they come back, they ask for 4 cents. They ask for 4% raise. And you know, that's what I would have loved to give them, but we had to be realistic. But, you know, to come back to the teachers and say we're not giving them anything, that just doesn't work for me. So we're going to adjourn and do it. Is that what you want to do?
Either way, it's, we
Yeah.
either adjourn or we
Okay.
have to call a special meeting. Either way is fine, just. y'all need to
Okay,
decide
let's
now.
adjourn and call a special call meeting for the budget next week.
For the school board after the
School board
budget
after the
meeting.
budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thursday, the 16th of May,
Yep.
following the call budget.
Thank you.
Tim, if you get that done before, you'll get that.
I'll get it to you. Yep, I will do that.
That's rough.
I would have thought, I mean, when you said, when